We have with us Ajit Dayal, Chairman of Quantum, and I.V. Subramaniam, MD of Quantum Advisors. And we've all seen in the press that Fairfax Financial Holdings Limited has acquired a 49.2% of the equity shares of Quantum Advisors. Ajit, how does that change Quantum in that sense?
Well, it doesn't change Quantum in the sense of its how we work, in the sense of the ethical foundation, in the sense of the focus to the investors. It doesn't change the research or investment processes, but it does change the size of the balance sheet. Now we have a new investor. The new investor has bought out some existing shareholders and is buying new shares from Quantum Advisors. That new shares will give us new capital. That new capital is what we will use to build the business going forward. But it does not change anything in Quantum at all. And maybe Subbu can talk a bit more about that.
No, it doesn't change anything barring the fact that we get new capital to meet the regulatory requirements. The research process, the investment process, the way the portfolio is constructed, the way we look at companies, they all remain the same. And the management team and the research and the portfolio team are all excited with the new partnership. It allows us to be much more focused on our fund management business and not to worry about the capital which is required for the regulatory purpose.
Yeah, I think that's a very important point. I mean, I know that none of y'all will see either Subbu or me driving around with a BMW. In fact, we have an internal joke among the two of us that if either Subbu or I buy a BMW, what happens to the other Subbu?
We can fire the other from the business.
The person who buys a BMW gets fired. And it's not that we have anything against BMWs. They're probably fantastic cars and they're greatly engineered cars and fantastic. But probably it represents certain things that we generally may question. A BMW may say that it's a great car for engineering. In India or in the emerging market world, it may represent that, hey, the guy made money very quickly doing some strange things. But anyway, that's besides the point. But it's more like a joke internally. So this is not a question of either Subbu or I encashing our shares and selling out. This is not what's happening. We are committed. We are dedicated to what we started 25 years ago. Subbu and I have worked together now since 1996, 19 years, 20th year sort of going forward. I think we both have been working together more than each of us have been married. This is about building something for the future. From then till today, there has been massive change in the regulatory environment in India. And after the Lehman crisis, there's been a massive change in the regulatory environment outside India, whether it's Europe or whether it's Canada or whether it's United States of America. Massive changes. And all of these changes require huge costs. So Quantum as a group, whether it's Quantum AMC on the local investors or whether it's Quantum Advisors on the international investors, our legal compliance bills, whether it's in-house staff or outsourced work from consultants and lawyers, has gone through the roof. And it's not going to get cheaper. The regulatory environment is going to get tougher. So it made a lot of sense for us to get capital to meet the regulatory requirements so that we can continue to serve you all. We are here to serve you all. That does not change.
Any changes to the management team now that somebody like Fairfax has come in, or does that also remain the same?
No, it remains the same. There is no change in the management team. There is no change in the portfolio team. So we are all happy with the new shareholder. You asked a question to Ajit about, and Ajit spoke about the culture, about the way we think. And it was very important for us to get a partner who understands this ethos. And I think to that extent, whatever we have read and interacted with the Fairfax group, they seem to be sharing the same kind of ethos, same kind of culture. And we hope to benefit from that association going forward.
What are the changes you envisage on the AMC side of the business?
So, Jimmy will talk much more about that. Again, the AMC business was at risk, if you want to say, because in May 2014, SEBI came out with a rule that took the minimum net worth from 10 crores to 50 crores. And there were, I think, about 15, 20 AMCs, including Quantum, which did not have that 50 crore minimum net worth. We were given 3 years to get the net worth so that we remain in business in the mutual fund side, and again so that we can serve you all and give you all a much more transparent, low cost, simple solution again for your investment and your savings. But anyway, we had to get that 50 crores. The parent company Quantum Advisors, in theory, had the money and they could have injected preference capital to Quantum AMC. So we'd have met the 50 crore minimum net worth requirement, but we would not have had extra money to become more visible. So what's changing is we've had a Tora moment. For those of you all my age, you all may remember the movie called Tora that was released sometime in 1970s or so. I was probably 12, 13, 14 years old when I saw it at Eros or Regal way back when. It was about the Japanese invasion and bombing of Pearl Harbor. So December 7th, this massive Japanese armada goes out and sends like the aircraft carriers and all this out there bombing Pearl Harbor. And this young Japanese sea person or seaman runs to one of their generals, old sage general sitting in his bunker at the bottom of the ship. And he says, so-and-so son, I want to tell you that we have bombed Pearl Harbor. And the young Japanese naval guy is very excited and very ecstatic that he's kind of wiped out Pearl Harbor. And the old sage Japanese general looks at him and he says, you have awakened a sleeping giant. So to that extent, Quantum's approach on the AMC side was that we have a track record. The track record will kind of run on its own. People will understand us. People will read about us. People will come and subscribe to our newsletters, and then finally they will come and subscribe to our funds whenever they're ready. But this torpedo that came towards us, that nearly sunk the ship and said, where is your 50 crore net worth? We realized we were probably a little too lazy in letting you all know that we exist. So by getting this new capital, not only have we achieved the 50 crore net worth, and we are now this solid ship and that can't be sunk by any more torpedoes, we hope, but we have the money and the capital to now advertise and become more visible. So clearly it's not going to change the way, as was described by Subbu, our research processes, the portfolio construction, the long-term way of investing, for example, in the Quantum Long-Term Equity Fund. None of that is going to change. But you will hopefully see a more visible Quantum and a more excitable Quantum on the marketing side and on trying to reach out to more people. That you will see for sure.
Quantum as an organization is 25 years old now. With Fairfax kind of coming in, what is your vision for the next 25 years for Quantum?
Well, given the fact that I'm now 55 years old, I can daydream a little more, but we've always been dreamers. I think when we started Quantum in 1990, Subbu was not there. In 96 onwards, we began to dream together. And we always had this desire to be the best investment manager out there. And not only from a research portfolio side, but also in terms of servicing clients, looking after the client's interests first and foremost. So very, what's the jargon used today is customer centric. So I guess we've always been customer centric, customer focused. And over the decades, we certainly have sacrificed size to be correct and to work on behalf of the investors. So my vision of Quantum for the next 25 years, and recognize I'll be 80 years old by then, so I don't know if I'll be around here, hopefully I will, but don't know what mental state I'll be in. But for the next 25 years, wherever I am, I'm hoping that Quantum will continue and the next generation of Quantum leaders will have the capital, will have the track record that we've built, and we've nurtured them to take Quantum leaps ahead of us, leaps of what we can even envisage and imagine. I mean, for a 1990 firm to now say we manage collectively across all asset classes, domestic sources, international sources, we manage somewhere close to 16,000 crores or 15,000 crores, something like that. That's been a nice achievement. And at no point have we compromised our principles. That's very important. And I think going forward for the next 25 years?
Same. We will share the same ethos, same principles. There won't be any change in that. And as Ajit said, that we have nurtured a lot of new people into the team. The management team which can take this forward is great. They understand what we have built and they desire to continue to build in the same way as we have done in the past. What this will do is only make us communicate more, meet you more often at the Paths to Profit, which right now we do only once a month or so, and ensure that our whatever we have done till date is now reaches out to more and more people. And that is what we had desired way back in 96, I remember. We did not have an AMC license then, but we just thought that somewhere down the line we should launch a company or product which will allow Indians to invest in a very sensible, process-driven portfolio manager, and that is what we have done till date, and we hope to continue to do it in future as well.
So again, going back to our business, there are three circles the way we look at it. There is a research investment circle for every asset class, whether it's your money market liquid fund or bond fund or equity fund or gold fund. There's a research process circle. There is another circle which goes out and meets customers. So there's a circle which says, okay, we need to communicate what's happening in quantum to the external world. Zubin leads that team. And then we have Harshad and his team who actually meet you all and try to convert the interest that you have. And then there's a third team which is led by Jimmy, Meera and Malay and also Rajendra, which does the other stuff, which is the NAV calculation, the regulatory, the compliance. And I think you should recognize that Jimmy Patel, who's now been CEO for 5 years of Quantum AMC, I mean, he's done a phenomenal job of carrying the flag of what Quantum stands for at various AMFI meetings, at various committee meetings, and trying to let the industry recognize that the long-term success of the industry will only come if you have businesses, and they are businesses, we all have to make profits, we don't doubt that. But if you have businesses which are built on what is best for the customer, and I think Jimmy's done a fantastic job of that. And now hopefully he'll have the capital that he doesn't have to look back and worry like, is he going to get the capital or not? He and his team can look forward and grow the business. So, very shortly you'll be hearing from Jimmy and he will tell you more about what he would expect to happen on the Quantum AMC side.
Thank you, Ajit. Thank you, Subbu. Thanks for your views.
Thank you. Again, I want to leave you with this thought that nothing in terms of the culture of Quantum is changing. Our DNA is still the same. We are who we are. There's been an external injection of capital by a group that supports what we have to say. And there was a wonderful interview, again, as I mentioned, in June 2015 by Mr. Prem Watsa, who is the chairman of Fairfax Financial. So I'll leave you with these thoughts that DNA is not changing. Visibility will certainly change, we hope, for the Quantum AMC side.
No, I completely agree to whatever Ajit says. I don't have anything more to say barring the fact that we are excited, and despite the age, Ajit is 55, I am 54, we are still looking forward to serve this company and serve the investor for a long time to come. Looking forward to your support. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Mutual fund investments are subject to market risk. Read all scheme related documents carefully.